Hey everyone, welcome to this weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast for the week of April 5th through the 11th of 2021. All right, so this week we have essentially the ending of the current lunar month, the ending of the lunar cycle. We will be gearing up for a new moon at the very end of the week, very late Sunday and early Monday of next week. So definitely a completion phase. But coming into this week, I think it is great for still taking action and initiative towards things. We will be in the third quarter phase, which is great for integrating energy from the cycle. But as we do approach the weekend, good to let the energies die down, maybe even release some things, finalize some things from the previous month to make way for those new beginnings around the corner. So it will be the second new moon in Pisces. If you're expecting me to say Aries, definitely check out the link down below. But more of that watery energy. In fact, all week we still do have Mercury, Venus, and the Sun all in watery Pisces. So the theme still is around finding peace and doing things important to us on a soul and spiritual level. Now, the early part of the week, though, Venus will be sextiling Mars. So maybe some easy energy with the yin and yang, with interpersonal relationships, at least available. But towards the weekend around Friday, Mars, the planet of fire, an assertion will be squaring up to Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, the ruler of the oceans of life. So this fire conflicting with water a bit collectively, but channeling this constructively can be fantastic as we do again end the current lunar month. So let's go and take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. Alrighty, so here is the sky for this week. We're going to look at this first starting with Monday, April 5th, 2021, and going day by day here throughout the week. Now, as you can see here, we are using the visible sky, which is very different from mainstream astrology. In mainstream, they do use an even 30 degrees for all of the constellations. So if you are new to this channel, definitely check out the link down below. Like I mentioned in the intro, we do have this second new moon in Pisces. And so if you were expecting that to be in Aries, again, check out the link for more information on what's called true sidereal astrology using the visible location of the planets. All right, so let's do a quick recap. I mean, not much to recap because it's quite straightforward, but Mercury, Venus, and the Sun are all in Pisces. And so it's been a great time of, really developing more of our spiritual selves to connect to our unconscious, to our spiritual self, to the ethers of life, to essentially find more peace. And so it's still great to be focused on that this week, especially as we gear up for another new moon in Pisces, to see how can we do things that are, going to lead to more mental and spiritual health, going to be more, calming and peaceful in our life, and to do things that are more spiritually meaningful to us, whether it's our work, relationships, Venus, whatever it might be, incorporating more of that, receptivity, willing to go with the flow, be guided, and to do what's important to us on a soul and spiritual level in life. So that's definitely the theme as it will continue going into the new lunar month. I do want to mention that Mars is still in grounded Taurus. So when we are taking action, I think it is great to still do it slowly and steadily, one step at a time. Very good time for resourcefulness and self-reliance and stopping to smell the roses when we are pursuing things in life. But very grounding and stable there when it comes to our actions and initiatives. All right, so let's go ahead and start with Monday here. We are going to have the moon entering Capricorn these first couple days, probably placing a theme on that since that is a very strong yearly energy with Saturn and Jupiter in Capricorn. So these first couple days really good for anything that does require essentially patience and self-discipline and perseverance, right? So it's all about climbing that mountain with Capricorn. So these first couple days really good for that long-term view. Now, also, these couple days, we're going to start to likely feel this Venus sextile Mars, although this is a very minor aspect and it's nothing that is that strong or forces us into it, but it is an opening. And it is an opening to merge the yin side of ourselves with the yang side of ourselves, or the feminine side with the masculine side. And so really good for this, especially when it comes to interpersonal relationships. There's an opening to be direct and assertive with that fire of Mars, but also receptive and tactful. All right. So a good balance there with the mainly interpersonal elements of life, but again, within, good for balancing that feminine masculine polarity to find more balance and well-being in our life. All right, and then once we do get to about the Wednesday time period and Wednesday going into Thursday, the moon will be shifting into Aquarius. And so this will be great for our visionary side and thinking about the future. And that could be for our own personal future and personal aspirations or collective ones as well. In fact, usually good when the moon's in Aquarius to maybe connect with friends, maybe online stuff, maybe community stuff here around Wednesday and Thursday. Now, once we start to get into the later part of Thursday and into Friday, we'll likely start to feel this challenging aspect. This is challenging collectively, but it can be a very constructive energy to work with. And this is where Mars, again, the planet of fire, and a masculine energy and assertiveness and our needs, squaring in a clash with Neptune, a feminine, receptive, yin energy that deals more with that Piscean energy of having to go with the flow and, surrendering what's outside of our control. So it's fire sort of conflicting with water collectively. So with this, there can be some over extremes with Neptune energy, or maybe we're feeling lower energy. Maybe the water's putting out the fire, cooling off the fire. Maybe there's uncertainty. We're not exactly sure what direction to take when it comes to our actions and initiatives. It can feel a bit like we're lost at sea, or there's just a lot of nebulousness and uncertainty to work with. And we also want to make sure we're not going to any over-under extremes with idealizations or dreams. It can be a great time of accessing our dreams and our ideals, but again, being conscious and constructive with that. And that's where we come to what this energy is actually helping us do, which is to put that fire towards more spiritually meaningful things and towards perhaps some of these dreams and ideals, right? So this becomes integrated when we can align that fire with the spiritual, with the water, right? So it's a great time of asking ourselves, what are some things that we, first of all, can be a little bit more receptive with, go with the flow a little bit more, be okay being at sea, and listen and be guided, to put action and energy again towards any types of ideals or dreams we may have that are important to us on a spiritual level. And of course, channeling fire into spiritual activities, quite literally, could be fantastic. Also remembering to have compassion and understanding and acceptance in those interpersonal elements of life, since Neptune is more of that unconditional accepting energy. But again, with conscious awareness, can make this very constructive. So great to set those intentions, and we'll notice that going into the weekend, this could be a very constructive time, especially with all this energy in Pisces, to again cultivate more peace in our life, to do what's more spiritually meaningful, and be more receptive just in general. Now, along with this, on Friday, we do have Mercury over Chiron, nothing major, but could be a good day around Friday for healing, or at least thinking about healing, using our minds to maybe read that book, maybe do some studying on healing. And anything that does involve learning, using our minds, or even communication can be very healing and very therapeutic. So a new chapter with this in a yearly sense, with a bit of rejuvenation to our mind and our communications, a bit of healing to our mind and communication. So any intentions you do want to set around that new chapter, could be also a great way of working with this Friday time period. All right, so Friday is when we start to get that moon back into Pisces, gearing up for the new moon, very late Sunday and early Monday. So it is definitely the ending phase by this time as we get to the weekend, the balsamic phase. And so it is a time of clearing, right? It's a time of listening. It's recognizing that it is the lowest energy phase of the lunar cycle. It's a great time for turning inward. Again, especially in Pisces, right? What's spiritually meaningful? What have we even learned this past month plus regarding Piscean energy? Could be a good way of culminating this energy, completing this energy rather. And so reflecting on this stuff and creating some space and completing things from the previous month can be a great way of working with this weekend. And then as we slowly get into the early part of next week, we'll notice the new beginnings. A lot of the new beginnings will be, again, around Pisces. They'll also be involving Venus, which is our values, possibly relationship energy. I will, of course, make a separate video on this, but the new moon will be squaring up to Pluto. So there could be some deep energy coming up here, but great for personal empowerment, personal transformation. But again, the main context is around spiritual peace and well-being as we do finish this Piscean energy these next week plus, really, and then start to enter into more of the fiery energies of the year. All right, everyone. So that is the week in a nutshell. Most important thing is finalizing the current lunar month, gearing up for the new beginning. The early part of the week, nothing major going on. Good for integration, taking action from the lunar month, but maybe some yin yang synergy here. Once we do get to the ending phase of the cycle over the weekend, Mars, the planet of fire, will be squaring up to Neptune, the planet of water, and so it will be good to find those receptive ways of taking action and putting some motivation towards, again, more of this Piscean approach to life. All right, so everyone have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click that like button if you haven't yet. If you're new to the channel, subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'll see you all next week for the next weekly forecast. Take care.